All right. Usually I try to start these things with a piece of art or a piece of entertainment that I have liked or has touched me or I want you to dig into. But um, I'm pleased to say I was like looking around the house, like, do I have any like dark occult art or anything that's like really, oh, the old religion, the old religion. Do I have anything here that ties into the old religion? And while I might somewhere, I couldn't think of one and I couldn't find one. So from where I sit, that's probably a good thing. Uh, but I wanted to talk about the old religion because there's been a lot of talk about the old religion. I heard Kurt Metzger bring it up, um, and I heard Mark Passio bring it up both times in the past week, and I mentioned it actually. The old religion is the root that's at all of the dark occultism, or so they say. And when I say they, I mean people better informed than I, like Mark Passio. Um, so, what is the old religion? What do they worship? Well, as was told to me decades ago by one of my theology professors when I was a theology scholarship student at that creepy college in West Virginia, one of my professors said the old religion was the worship of death. The old religion, the oldest religion of them all, is the worship of death because people had such little understanding of their place in this world. They were born into it, they existed, and then something happens and they die. And then that's it. That's the end of their existence. So death is the most powerful force that these primitive people saw and experienced. So, of course, you would want to appease death. You would want to try to come up with ways to appease death. And even if they worked or not, you'd probably figure the best way to do it is to kill other things. Here, death, take this goat. Here, death, take this cow. Here, death, take this child. Here, death, take this family. Here, death, take these peoples. Here, death, take this civilization. Here, death, take this planet. That's what they're up to. That's the old religion. That's its core. It's death. It worships death. And it's got power because death has power. So there's your old religion. You can dig around for a long, long time and finally figure that out, or you can listen to me here. They worship death. And with that in mind, about talking like, how you can dig and 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 finally like come around to this. There's another thing, I hate to keep dropping Kurt Metzger's name, but that guy, he'll tell you he's not smart. He's very, very smart. He wasn't so smart that he didn't get a couple vaccines, but we'll call that one a mulligan, Kurt. And, hopefully you got O negative blood or some kind of negative blood because, um, you know, gossip says that people with negative blood may well be expelling the uh, spike proteins from their body. Uh, there was some very early preliminary research done that suggested that, and then it was, of course, well, the government shut that down immediately. No, 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 we don't want to study that anymore. No, 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 no. So anyway, Kurt Metzger um, uh, was talking about like the George Washington Monument in Washington D.C. and was using that as an example of how you can like start digging into the occult or secret societies and all that sort of stuff. And um, you like when you're at the very beginning, you have a superficial understanding of what it is. And then you're like digging, 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 digging. You do all this stuff, all this stuff, all this stuff. And then at the end you find, oh, it was that kind of that thing that I thought it was at the first place. And then, so I would then Kurt then compared it to the Washington Monument in D.C. He said, like, when you first look at it, you're like, what the heck? It's like, there's like a giant cock in the middle of the nation's capital. You know, that obelisk, it's like a giant cock. Um, uh, then you dig into the whole secret society thing, the obelisks inside the Freemasons and a bunch of other places too. And then you go through it and you go through it. And what does it mean? Oh, yeah, it's basically a cock. It's basically a cock. It's a secret society leaving their mark, like a dog pissing on the tree on your property, right? It's not his property, but he wants to leave his mark anyway, right? So Earth is not their property, but they're just leaving their mark anyway because you can find that obelisk all over the place. And I won't single out the Freemasons because you can look around and you can find that black cube all over the place too, all around the world. So it's basically just a bunch of these secret societies leaving their piss stained marks all over the place like a dog on a tree, you know, trying to convince you they own this place. Although it is Satan's world and they all are competing, I guess, to be top dog. Huh, interesting. Um, but anyway, let me bring that around to what I was trying to say, which was Jesus. So I have really been digging into Jesus for like decades and decades. I mean, like before the theology scholarship thing, I was just always interested in church and Jesus, and I always was like, spiritual world was of interest to me. And I would say, you know, my childhood understanding of Jesus as this like mystical half God, half man person who was sent here by a merciful God to take the sins of a flawed world upon himself and give us a cheat code out of here. Because maybe this is all just a giant simulation, right? You know? I'm not saying that it is, but getting weirder. Um, that understanding of Jesus is really basically what I came around to after decades and decades of digging into it. And that is actually the really cool thing about Christianity, or one of the cool things. Getting to pass off my sins on a Messiah, that's probably the coolest thing. But one of the coolest things about Christianity is you can just take it like at face value, simple. Here's my Messiah. He died for me. I'm going to try to be a better man because of it. Please instill in me a Christ like strength and mercy for the downtrodden and love of God and all that stuff. You know? Um, uh, or you can dig into it and try to find out about like mystical contacts like saints and holy blood and doing exorcisms and fighting the devil and you know, what were all those apostles really up to after he died? And you know, it's like you can dig and dig and dig and dig. 3 wise men, 2 wise men, magi. How did they know? What was with the stars? You can go on and on and on. You know, there's a whole mystical side to Jesus that is fascinating. You know, and you know, and sometimes kind of dark-ish. You know, like now Jesus isn't dark at all, but there is like a mystical, not unrighteous darkness out there that maybe fooled me or something because I didn't know. I ran away when I saw it. Actually, it was like but I didn't get the feeling that it was anti-Jesus. That was the deal. I didn't think it was anti-Jesus. You know, and it was pro like life, people like life, but it was kind of harsh, kind of harsh. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, like the obelisk is the giant cock overlooking its kingdom of fallen weirdos in DC, um, uh, is exactly that. You know, no matter how much you dig into it, it's exactly that. In the same way, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is the easiest thing to figure out and the most complex and interesting and intriguing. And you can spend a lifetime digging into it. And people do. People do. People have. So there's my 2 cents. I'm going to get this one under 10 minutes, looks like. Cool. Yeah, the old religion is the worship of death. I don't recommend it. See you later.